Have you ever heard the saying, never show up to a gunfight with a knife? Well, that's what most people are doing when they're playing online with a regular Xbox controller. And this controller right here, the Nacon Revolution X Unlimited, is like a machine gun because the amount of customization and options you have here are truly incredible. This controller is officially licensed by Xbox and designed for Xbox, and they also throw in an Xbox Game Pass 1 month free ultimate trial. The price on this at launch is £179 here in the UK. And at the end of this video, let me know whether you think all of the features that this controller has is worth that price tag. And also I should mention, even though it's designed for Xbox, you can use it with your PC. And in fact, there are some advantages that PC gamers can enjoy. We'll come back to those. Okay, let me give you a guided tour of the design on the Nacon Revolution X Unlimited. So the pad uses Hall effect control sticks. The caps on these control sticks can be adjusted, and also you can fit these rings around the control sticks which actually reduce the range of motion and can make the controller more responsive. But if you are going to do that, you might want to play around with some of the curves. And there's these chunky trigger caps as well if you want a bit more height on the control sticks. And there's also convex and concave options for the trigger caps. So we have Omron mouse click directional keys for the D-pad. This setup right here, the disc version, gives you 8 directions. However, you can change this out too for a 4-directional D-pad if you prefer that. On the base of the controller, we do have a mute button and also analog audio jack. This is used for audio from the game and also for your mic. And there's some good news when it comes to these audio channels. We'll come back to that. The ABXY buttons on the front of this controller are actually slightly larger than the classic Xbox ones, which I do think some people will appreciate. And these do use Omron switches as well. So that means they're super quick, super responsive. The L1 and R1 use very premium ALP switches. The L2 and R2 are Hall effect triggers. So these use kind of magnets. And check this out, on the back, you've got these 2 switches. These turn the triggers into deadshot triggers. This reduces that range on the triggers, making the response time a lot quicker. This is only ideal for shooters, really. There's also 2 shortcut buttons up top here, which can be mapped within the software. Again, we'll come back to those. So on the back of the controller, we have a profile selector button. There are 4 profiles for Xbox, 4 for PC. This center switch toggles between the connectivity modes. So right now I'm on Wi-Fi. You've got Bluetooth and then you've got wired. And this last switch is a profile selector switch, which toggles between advanced and classic. There are also 4 mappable back buttons on this controller. So the majority of this controller has this kind of rubberized texture, which is going to be nice and very hard wearing. And then you've got this more grippy texture for the controller grips. But check this out. You can actually remove the grips from the back here. And this controller, as it is actually not a very lightweight controller. It feels very premium, but you can actually customize the weight of the controller so that it feels perfectly balanced for you. So I'm just going to throw on the heaviest weights here, the 16 grams. And this kind of feels like loading a bullet into a gun. And whilst we're talking about guns, there is vibration motors in the grips and in the triggers. So when you're playing shooting games, you'll be able to feel that kick from the gun here and here, which is nice. And I do think these weights can make it feel even nicer. So yeah, the weight of this now feels even more premium and it's perfectly balanced, like all things should be. Okay, so as you can see, there are a ton of customization options for this controller, but I haven't shown you one of the best features here just yet, but it is staring you right in the face. But we will come back to that once we get a look at the software, because then it will make more sense what it does. And before we jump into the software, there's a couple of things you need to know. You do get this really nice hard shell carry case, and that will keep it nice and protected if you're transporting it around. It's flat on both sides, and the zip is one of the nicest zips that I've ever seen on a case like this. Inside, you do get a USB-A to USB-C cable, and it's a nice long one as well. Something that I really like about the cable is the way when you plug it in, it actually goes into the controller, so that way if it does get sort of snagged, it's not going to snap off at the end. Of course, you get all the joystick accessories and weights and thumbsticks. You already knew that. You also got a USB-A 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi adapter for the wireless connection between your PC and the controller. And this is a charging dock, and at first I wasn't quite sure how the controller sat on it, but this is how it goes. Put it flat on the desk, the controller sits on it like this. The nice thing about this dock is you've got the USB-C charging point here, so you can just plug this into any USB-C outlet. And it's got the contact points here, but check this out. If you take this rubber piece off, there is a slot here, and it's a USB-A slot. And I believe this is specifically for storing the dongle with the charging base. So you always know where it is. The only problem is you might not know where this is after a while, because that could easily go missing. Okay, that's enough of that. Now let me show you the software side of things, and then we'll come back to the killer feature on this controller. And don't forget to let me know what you think of this once you've seen everything. So the software for the Nacon Revolution X Unlimited can be found on the Microsoft Store. If you just type in Nacon, there are separate apps for different types of controllers, but the newest one is this one, the Revolution X Unlimited. Install it, open it, and then you can start setting up the pad itself. And there we go, we're in. So you've got two different customization modes, one for Xbox, one for PC. I am playing using the Game Pass at the moment, so the Xbox one's the one that I'm going to use. So by default, you've got 4 different presets. You've got racing, shooting, precision shooter, and arcade fighting. You can switch any of these out for your own custom one at any time if you want to. So to do that, you just go to New Profile, give it a name, and you can see straight away you can remap pretty much every single thing on this controller. So the great thing about the configuration here of the sensitivity curves is you can actually match the attachments that you've fitted on the controller here at the top. So if you're using the medium or the big attachment, which I am here, it will adjust the curves for those. And then you've got these presets down here, and then you've also got a custom one you can dial in yourself. Same thing applies for the right stick. When you go to the triggers, you can also see the position that you've set the switches to. So right now it's full. And you can actually change where the button begins to register as well. And there's some presets here as well. So there's a short delay, full, instant. And check this out, this is one of my favorites. You can customize the colors, and you can actually choose specific colors for specific presets. So when you toggle through the presets on the controller, the colors will also change. And you do have a little bit of a strobing effect, or a cycle effect is called here. You can change the speed of that and also the brightness of the lights. Now remember how I said there's something cool you can do with the audio? Well, you can actually EQ the sound coming from the controller to a wired pair of headphones right here. You've got a number of different preset EQs, and you can even create your own one. And you can also adjust the chat channels as well. And there's 2 ways to create an EQ. You can either drag things up and down over here, or you can actually adjust them here more granularly so you know what the numbers are. And then on the last tab, you have the vibration sensitivity. So as I said before, there's 4 different motors here, so you can change the sensitivity for each one of those individually. And once you set up your profile, you can then go to add to another slot, choose what slot on that setup you want it to be. Let's go number 4. There we go. Now we've got our own custom profile here set as profile 4. And then same thing applies with the PC. But remember how I said there's a unique feature for PC gamers? Well, here it is, the connection speed. So if you are using the wire that's provided or another premium cable, you can actually use the wired boost mode or the boosted wire mode, and that's going to reduce the input latency right down. You've also got 2 other modes to play around with here as well if you want to. So there we go. That is the Nacon Revolution X Unlimited app. Okay, so let me show you what I think is one of the killer features of this pad, and it is the little LCD display. So at any time, you can hit this little button here and activate the on-device display and switch the audio settings. So you can adjust volume, mic, game mixer, and even the audio to Bluetooth devices. And then if you go back, you go to joysticks, you can customize the stick inversion, stuff like that, and even the response right here on the pad itself, which is crazy. So you don't even need to go into the software to do some of this stuff. And then if you go across again, you've got your button mapping, so you can play around with all that stuff. And then you've got your settings, so your Bluetooth connection, your pairing mode, your vibration sensitivity can be customized here as well. And then if we go across, you've got the battery saving options. And the great thing about this pad is it will show you how you're connected. So right now, connected over Wi-Fi, it shows the mic is actually on. So we can mute that mic at any time. It shows you what mode we're in, what preset. And then it also shows you if we're in Xbox or PC mode. And then if I hit the profile button, which is here on the back, we can hot swap between the different profiles. So you can see the P1, P2, P4 switching right there. So this is fantastic because it means that Once you've set it up the first time on the PC, you don't necessarily have to use the software every time to make these changes. So when it comes to actually using this controller, here's the things that I like about it. The grip feels really, really solid. The weight feels really nice, especially now I put the heaviest weights in. I do really like this tall joystick here, and the metal ring on this as well makes it even more responsive. I've put the concave fixing here on the right stick so my thumb doesn't slip when I'm making those fine adjustments for aiming and things like that. So I really do like that. The D-pad as well. If you're playing fighting games, I'd probably switch this to the other one, but for regular sort of Xbox games, this is perfect for me, and I do like how that feels. It kind of dips in the middle. The triggers are really nice. I like how responsive they are and how springy they are. There's a good amount of resistance there. The clickiness here is nice as well. These as well, I haven't even begun to look at what to use those for, but it's nice to know I have that option. When it comes to the back paddles, I feel like I'm going to turn this one and this one off at first, because those take a little bit more effort to find, and I do feel like I may hit those by accident, so I'm going to switch those off. But these ones are really nice. So I need to set up a few profiles. But let's play a quick game of Batman Arkham Knight. So let me know, what do you think of the Nacon Revolution X Unlimited? Would you choose this over the more premium options from Xbox or even from other popular brands like Scuff? Is there anything that really stood out to you about this controller which you haven't seen anywhere else? And let me know, what was your favorite feature on this controller? Hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you did, a little thumbs up would be appreciated. If you do want to check out the price on this right now, there'll be an affiliate link below. And if you've just subscribed, you are now one of the finest subscribers known to man. I'll see you in the next one. Don't be late.